Hey guys, welcome back to my beautiful channel. Happy New Year. This lazy girl is back again with another beautiful video. So I'll be showing you guys how I created a sweet look on a beautiful dark skin and the challenges I faced while creating this look. Yes, it wasn't a smooth ride. I'll be showing you guys everything. But before we proceed, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. So started off with a skin prep and I cleanse her face with micellar cleansing water. Guys, she is so dark that seeing her skin, I thought that I'm going to get some dirt out of her face, or probably her skin might brighten up a little after cleansing, because that's the usual thing that happens after cleansing the face. The face is more likely to just look toned a little, but not in her case because she's really dark skin. And the most beautiful thing about her skin is that she has this glowing dark skin, like you know what they call black and shine. Yes, that is the definition of her skin tone. After that, I spray her face with Badoscu setting spray and I allow that to dry down in her skin before moisturizer. For moisturizer, I used Embryolise moisturizer. Now, this moisturizer is very hydrating and at first it will leave white cast on your face. You have to make sure you massage it very well on the skin so that the skin can absorb it very well before applying any product on it. After that, I now used a primer. For primer, I used Health Grip Primer. Now, this primer will help grip our makeup and it also help our makeup to last. For foundation, I used L'Oreal True Match Foundation with CPD foundation. CPD is a Nigerian brand and L'Oreal True Match in C10. This is where the flop happened. So after mixing the foundation, I realized that the foundation undertone is not well balanced with our own undertone. So that is from one of the foundation I used. But it looks good at first, but I realized it as a professional. I know that the foundation is not well balanced. But I used it anyway, thinking it will oxidize, but it did not oxidize. Just keep watching and you see how I was able to balance up her skin tone so that she will not be looking brighter than she looks. After that, I did a cream blush. Couldn't get that on camera, but I moved on into concealing her face. So for concealer, I used Avour concealer. I'll be putting the shade in the description bar. The concealer is not too light for her and it has a orange undertone, which is perfect for dark skin because dark people has a red undertone and the next undertone after that is orange. So to brighten up their skin tone, orange is usually fair for them. Avoid using products that has yellow undertone for people who are dark skin because it can look outrightly very bright on them unless you're trying to brighten their under eye, and you have to be very careful with that. Now we're trying to maintain their skin tone and not make them look too white. Now this is one of the tricks you need to note while making up on dark skin. So for setting powder, I used CPD setting powder. It's their darkest shade. Now this setting powder is very good for dark skin. It has like a reddish and a little bit of orange undertone in it, which is not too bright and it will not give any flashback. Like this setting powder just melts into the skin. So I used that to set all the highlighted areas and then I went in to set the rest of her face with a pressed powder. So for powder, I used a pressed powder to set the rest of her face. I used Fenty powder in 480. While using this, I realized that this powder is not dark enough. Remember the foundation shade is not well balanced, so I have to balance it up with a powder. So this is one of the tricks you would use if your foundation shade is not well balanced. So now you have to try as much as possible to balance the skin shade with a powder so that the face is not looking too light. So I had to pick my powder palette that has very dark shades in them. So I went into Royale powder palette. So I pick not the darkest shade there, but like the second to the darkest shade there. So I used this all over her face. Now this now helps me to balance up her skin tone, and this powder has a very good coverage. So I did not have to struggle too much with it. I also used the same powder for a nose contour. to give our nose structure so that it can give this pointed illusion. So for powder blush, I used CPD powder palette. I used that purple shade there so that to give our face structure and colors on our face so that our face will not be looking all dark and blank. Then I went ahead to bake. For baking, I used RCMA setting powder. This powder is a no color setting powder. That's the reason why I love it so much, and I love to use it to bake so that by the time I'll be dusting out the setting powder, it will not be too difficult for me to set out and it doesn't leave white cast. So I use this to bake and also to do a reverse contour. While our face is baking, I now went into doing our brows. So for our brows, I used a black pencil to draw our brows so that our brows can show. I also used the pencil to fill in our brows in air strokes. And then I went to a gel liner, again A-Star gel liner in Ebony to fill in our brows before highlighting. I already concealed our brows before I realized that I wasn't filming where I concealed the brows. And that was one of the challenges that we face while creating content. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so for our eyes, I used the eyeshadow base and I used Benign Clan White eyeshadow base. Please make sure you blend your eyeshadow base very well before applying your eyeshadows so that your eyeshadow will not break. If you don't blend it very well, your eyeshadow application can look messy. So for the eyeshadow, I used Honest Beauty Meets the Browns eyeshadow. Now this eyeshadow palette has become my go-to when it comes to picking brown shades of colors, just like the name, Meet the Browns. So I use that for a crease and also for the outer corner of our eyes. But for the inner corner of our eyes, I used Blossom eyeshadow in African Queen. I just picked a nude color there and I used that as a main color. You see how that color is popping on her eyes. I did not do too much on her eyes. It's a matte look, but then it's sitting pretty before now fixing lashes. So for eyelashes, I looked for eyelashes that suits her eye shape. I used classic eyelash glue. And when picking eyelashes, please make sure you pick eyelashes that will suit your client or your model's face so that it will sit properly on them and they don't look weird. After that, I dust off the setting powder I left under her eyes. You see that as I dust the excess powder I left under her eyes, her face is not looking white, despite the powder is white. But remember I said it's a no color setting powder, like it's a translucent powder. It doesn't leave color on your face. You can still see the bright shade of powder which I used to brighten her under eyes. And then I smudge her under eyes. Use a very tiny brush to just pick brown eyeshadow from the Meet the Brown eyeshadow palette. I used that to just to smudge her under eye to give her face a very good lift. After that, I now set her face with Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Now this spray helps me to melt her face and all the powdery look, melt all the powdery look together so that her face will not be looking powdery. Now at this point, I know that yes, her face is coming together. But it would be a taboo to make up on dark skin and not make them glow. So remember, she has a naturally dark glowing skin, which I called Black and Shine. So we can't just leave her face matte. I had to go in with a cheek glaze by Miss Metics just to give her this dewy look. For using highlighter, I used that on the highest point of her face, her forehead, the sides of her face, that's her cheeks. It's like basically where the places that light will hit, and you can easily see that reflection. So I applied the highlighter on the places where I put the cheek glaze, just to give it that extra glow. But I make sure I take out the excess. If you can see where I was tapping out the excess on the brush before applying it, so that it's not too much on the skin. After that, I went to do her lips. So for her lips, I used Soopro lip stain. They are dark brown lip stain, and I mixed it with a black gel liner so that our lip can be well defined. And then for to fill in her lips, I used a nude concealer first off on the middle of her lips to blend everything together, because I'm actually going for a nude look. And there's a way nude lip pops on dark skin. It looks very beautiful, especially when you use the right shade. And I use Avour lip stain. They are nude pinkish lip stain. I'm going to check the number, so I'll be leaving it in the description bar. I used it on a lower lip, and I used my brush. I used a blending brush to blend it in very well before applying gloss. So I glossed her lips using CPD lip gloss, and then I used a finishing spray to lock her makeup. So before finalizing, I just give the hairstylist room to let down the bang of her hair so that we can now see how pretty she is looking before using mascara, because mascara always comes last. I say that every time in my channel here. Mascara is what I use last. So for mascara, I used Kiss Beauty mascara and Zaron mascara to coat her bottom lashes, and that is it, guys. So despite all, you see our skin tone is well blended and we maintain that melanin. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. Please don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment, let me know how much you enjoyed this video, or if you have any question, and also subscribe to this beautiful channel. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.